see what else is going on out there. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's really not going to, I don't think it's detrimental for the market at all.
I think that there's got to be quality control on what you're putting out. Just because you're independent doesn't mean that your release can sound like a demo. You know what I mean? The difference between independent and majors is that independent, you're doing it yourself. You're not relying on anybody else to back you or to put stuff out. That doesn't mean that your music is supposed to sound different than the majors, so to speak. It should sound sonically just as good as a major release.
There are a lot of cats out there. There certainly are. I mean, I remember growing up when the new hip-hop album came out, you felt it in your bones, you know? You go to the store and there's the hip-hop. There was no hip-hop section. There was just a new album out and you bought it because that was the new, that was the new joint. Now, obviously, there's 50,000 CDs just from the South alone. You know what I mean? On some Southern thug knit. But, it's pretty flooded. It's pretty flooded, but I think ultimately, the music that rises is the music that is, supposed to rise. Often the music that is good gets ignored too, but I don't really think about it.
But availability of new, innovative, independent music hasn't always been readily available.
I'm Brian Brader, co-founder of Rawkus Records. When we first got into this, Loud didn't even peak. Puffy was just getting going in '95. Realistically, as far as as Bad Boy Records. So it was very unique to be around when those scenes were sort of burgeoning, when they were, just flourishing. Around that time, which is, late '96, really early '97, there were a lot of unknown yet superior lyricists floating around New York City in particular. Although there were scenes in LA and San Francisco that were relevant, I think that when Mos Def put out Universal Magnetic, that record it went in the UK, it went in Los Angeles, it went in New York, but ended up selling tens and tens of thousands of copies. And when Kweli released Fortified Live in early '97, again, a similar kind of thing, a new kind of lyricist over, a fresh sounding beat, something new, with an artist like Mos Def featured on it, and that went extra something big. And when Company Flow put out Funk Crusher Plus, which is their first, their full-length album through Rawkus, those are really the three, I'd say, cornerstones, the 3 points of the triangle of that point in time in which Rawkus and hip-hop really did something new and I think historical.
The perception of independent hip-hop seems to rightly be changing. From originally being frowned upon by many of the so-called moneymakers, it's now viewed as a viable opportunity for new, innovative ideas. Many of the tracks are being made by the next generation of music makers who are keen to get their material on plastic.
This is the Big D from Slaughterhouse Cartel. I feel good when the little young brothers come up to me, and tell me, I'm trying to get in the rap game, what do you think I should do? I just look at it, like I'm a mentor for them to come to me and ask me, things about the music business. I tell them, I'm like, listen, man, I want you to sit home and write. I'm going to come to you one day and I'm going to ask you to give me 16. When I come to you, I expect for you to give me the 16 bars right up and down with no hesitation. Don't go write nothing. When I come to you, have the 16. If you on point when I come to you, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to come and get you because I know that you dedicated and you loyal to this.
Now there's some new kids coming out of New York. There's some kids who just don't give a fuck about who came before them or, who's got money and who doesn't. They just have things to say, and that to me is the most important thing, especially in America right now, which is in a very strange time, culturally, politically, economically, socially. You need people who can speak to that specifically or abstractly, but in a way that people can connect to that. And I think that's what we're about. We're not about making party music necessarily. It's more about doing something that matters. And for me, to put the structure behind that, to push it forward, is what's important.
Reputation is everything, and with a solid fan base, you can go far. The props that come with having a decent rep are enormous. It's not easy to get street respect, and labels such as Big Dada, Wolftown, and Def Jux have done just that. So how important are the streets to the artists?
The streets to me is everything, because that's real. You know what I'm saying? It's like radio and video is great for making money. It's great for the masses to like you. But the fans that know you from radio and from video are not fans of you. They're fans of the record you made. And that's the difference. The streets are fans of you for what you do. You know what I'm saying? The streets follow you because they know what you've done. They're going to support you. You know what I'm saying? But the fans that listen to you from radio and from video, those are the kids that might not have any idea who you are. They hear your song played over and over again. They go and buy it, but there's no guarantee that they're going to be there next week when you drop that next single. And that, you know what I'm saying, they need to be programmed again to find out if they like that one, to go buy that one.
My name is Rawkus Maneuver. UK's home, so whereas, you know, regional slang and UK sayings and just that whole UK culture, the lyrics just hit the heart more in the UK. Whereas in Europe and, say, America, people are just investigating and scratching their chin. Like, that's quite intriguing. That's quite cute. Whereas the UK really understand. You know, they properly feel it and jump, hop, skip, and jump when they hear something that they can relate to.
If there's a philosophy behind Lowlife, it's always been that you always maintain your underground support and you build from the ground up, and you never step over the underground and try and sell something to somebody else first. You always sell to your underground support first. Wait a minute. That's our strength as a label, is that we can tread that line between making records that can reach out to a bigger audience, but still maintain your underground support. And that's why our sales have always increased. They've never gone up or down, really, and it's why we're still here. It's why we have the support that we do from, like, the hip-hop crowd.
A major part of this fan base from the street comes from the backpack scene. Students are crucial to the hardcore of independent hip-hop.
Young kids and students like to be a part of something, like to be involved in something that they can identify as being bigger than just partying, you know? These are the kids whose brains are racing. They're getting information every day, and they want to attach themselves to something, and they want to believe in something. And, you know, there's one thing to be able to get drunk and dance, and that certainly is needed, or we'll all die. But it's another thing to be able to, you know, kids are looking for their heroes. Kids are looking for people with ideas that are going to help form the way that they look at things. I'm 27. I have a few ideas I have a few jewels that I can put into kids' heads at 21 that they're going to be able to actually use, you know, as opposed to just, I don't know, be amused by.
I do believe that independent hip-hop is perceived poorly within the confines of the bigger hip-hop, commercial or whatever. I feel that most of the time, because hip-hop has taken on this persona of the desire for money, the desire for cars and whatnot, that when you talk about backpackers, for example, they're not the ones with the gold chains and whatever. They're given a bad rap. Or then there's the whole, quote, conscious hip-hop movement where they're a bunch of, quote, lettuce heads. You know, I don't know if you heard that. Lettuce heads and, you know, Trustafarians. There's a whole lot of different denominations within independent hip-hop that is kind of looked down upon from the commercial side.
I don't think that underground hip-hop is misperceived in the sense that it's such an underground culture, and therefore the people that know of it and understand the intricacies of the culture, if they're into it enough to find out about it and to seek out the acts that are within it, then to a certain extent they understand it and they want to be a part of it and they want to participate in it and support it. I think that hip-hop to the mass public is definitely misperceived, the way that media in general portrays hip-hop culture, and in that does not portray that hip-hop is four elements: DJ, MC, graffiti, breakdancing, and not just rapping, and not just bling bling and drug this and ho that.
The future looks bright for independent hip-hop. It seems the drive, vision, and undying love of the music from the people inside it will not only see it through the hard times, but make it flourish. From all around the UK, youngsters are pushing the musical boundaries to a new and expectant audience. Long may it continue.